Zach Bauer lost 50 pounds with OMAD and he's kept it off for 6 years.
All right. Well, thank you for being here, Zach. Why don't you just give yourself a little introduction, tell people who you are and what you do?
Okay. Yeah, my name is Zach, and I live on an off-grid homestead. We have our own YouTube channel where we talk about educational topics when it comes to homesteading, also news-related topics, things like that. We just kind of stay in the know. But I travel and I speak at homesteading conferences and homesteading expos, and got a few of them still lined up before the summer's over. So that's what we do. We live on an off-grid homestead. What you're seeing right now is powered by solar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And how long have you been off grid?
Going on 12 years now. So 12 years. Hmm.
That's awesome. So, but you're here to talk about your weight loss. So give us a rundown of like how much did you lose and how did you do it?
Well, I lost 50 pounds and I had been maintaining that since late 2019. So it's just maybe just a little over 50 pounds that I lost, starting the OMAD journey that I started. And I got started doing that basically because I was inspired by my late wife. So in 2018, she decided to start a weight loss journey yet again. And I was like, okay, honey, yes, sure. We'd been through the Trim Healthy Mama, Weight Watchers. I mean, oh, you name it, we've been down that road. Um, and so she started this one and she saw great success with it. It was like the only thing that she had ever succeeded at and felt really good about. And there was a number of plateaus, as I'm sure you're aware of, as you go down that road. But she crested each of those plateaus one after the other, and that was what really encouraged her to keep going. So she lost about 80 pounds, I think, somewhere around then, and then reached her goal. Um, and as I saw that happening, it inspired me to do that. I was overweight. I was probably around 225-ish.
Mhm.
On the BMI, I was probably getting close to obese. I was obese.
Mhm.
And in the obese category. And then also, I would consider myself definitely at that time pre-diabetic. I like if I went out to have like a fast food meal somewhere, it felt like I was drunk and very dizzy, which is like spiked insulin. I mean, that was me, right?
Mhm.
So I knew I had issues. And so going on that journey, it fixed everything. And so I lost about 50 pounds, and it inspired me to get started. I think more along the lines of starting with the 16-8, I
Mhm.
guess, 2 meals a day, because 1 meal a day, she dove right into 1 meal a day and was good to go. I could not do that. To me, that was like hard.
Right.
So I basically for 6 months did 2 meals a day. And after that, I lost about 7 pounds during that time. Okay. And then because I saw that success, I started being able to easily get into the 1 meal a day. And then after that, it was just full bore, and I've been doing it really ever since. And I hit my goal. I hit my goal just soon after she passed away. So she got cancer in early 2019, and within 10 months she was gone. But it was really her success, and she inspired me to keep going. And I'm thankful I did, because I really think I fixed a lot of problems health wise because of that. So and I'll do this the rest of my life.
That's awesome. But do you did you change what you were eating or what do you eat might be a better question.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, at first I didn't. I would say, there was still junk food, and I wasn't so knowledgeable about things that are in our food today as I am now. I wasn't that knowledgeable back then, but as I began to learn, watching videos like yours and others out there, and just seeing what was all going on in our food industry, I switched over more to whole foods, and just making sure that the one time I did feed my body, uh, it was with good stuff,
Mhm.
good fuel.
Right.
So now I'm very aware of that stuff. I've cut out of all seed oils, and I'm very passionate about the things that I have in my home. Not only just for me, but my children, my kids,
Mhm.
to make sure they're always eating healthy too.
So you didn't mention any exercise. Did you have an exercise routine that you did in conjunction or did you just do the OMAD?
I started doing that after, so, all right, just losing a spouse is very difficult, and you've lost your best friend. And so, um, I think I spent the first 6 weeks after that just like in the fetal position on the couch, just trying to deal. But then I realized, you can't stay here forever. So you got to get up and get moving. And you research online, you talk to people who've been through this before, and there's a number of roads people go down, some of them not so good, when dealing with grief. But one of the better ways that people had talked about was exercise. And I'm telling you, that has been a game changer. So I started exercising a lot, doing things. Just recently, I've started dabbling more into resistance training, just on a small scale. I'm not going to be a bodybuilder or anything like that, but just have too much in life to go on to deal with stuff like spend all that kind of time doing that. But it's good. It really does help, deal with stress and deal with grief and deal with depression. And people deal with that in a lot of different ways. And I think that's probably the healthiest way you can deal with it. And so, yeah, I started to bring that into my lifestyle, as time went on and getting more and more. But also that component you just said, the food, like what is healthy food? What is good food? And being cognizant of that. So, yeah, it all plays a part.
So give us an example of like your daily routine. You've been in maintenance now for you said 6 years, right?
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
So why don't you kind of take us through like what your life is like on like maybe an OMAD day, and then and do you still do OMAD every day, or do you kind of switch back and forth, or what's it like for you?
I go back and forth. So I've reached a goal. And so now that I've got that goal, I want to make sure that I stay within a certain amount of parameters. So if I see myself, like my goal is like around 170. And so if I see myself getting above 175, well, I'm going to be really strict. If I
Right.
see myself getting around 170, I might have 2 meals a day, or I might have some extra carbs or something like that, to, enjoy some things with the kids. But, I try to keep myself inside that parameter. And my normal day basically is okay, I'm going to, get up. I'm going to, depending on if it's a rest day or a workout day, I'm going to work out and exercise, and then go carry on with my day. I live on a homestead. We're off grid, so there's always chores and things to do. And I'm a homeschool dad, so I homeschool my children. So I'm always monitoring, keeping that on track. And we run a couple businesses here. Obviously, the homestead channel, and then some other things as well. One of the things that I don't know if I have it here. So speaking about good food, healthy food, once you become aware of things, so we bought the business and took over the business Perfect Pickler, which is a vegetable fermentation.
Hmm.
And that's, we all know it's about good, healthy gut bacteria. And so that's played a huge part of this whole journey. And so, yeah, we've taken over that company. And so we're busy. I'm always busy. And I think it's a good lifestyle to always be busy, always have things you're willing to do. I think we can get stuck in these places where we just sit and we don't do anything. And it's so easy to do in our modern day age. So I think that we have to be aware of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you find your weight does fluctuate like about a 10 pound range, or is it tighter than that or looser than that, would you say?
I try to keep it like within a 5 pound range. There's times where I will get over or under that. It just depends. I really like doing the one meal a day. So there's lots of people who you encounter them. This just isn't healthy. This can't be good for you. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm convinced about the studies I've seen and I've read,
Sure.
and there are a lot of great people out there who, tend to lean towards fasting and all the health benefits. I'm convinced. So I don't care if you're not convinced. I'm going to keep doing it. I like the way I look. I like the way I feel. And so I'm sold on it. But
Mhm.
you'll encounter people all the time who think, oh, you just need to, eat whatever. And no, I try to keep it pretty strict in my parameters.
Right. So, did you always have a weight problem, or is this something that kind of happened in adulthood, or?
Man, no, I mean, I used to be in the military. I served in the infantry. I used to have six pack abs. I was, and then, in my 20s, I looked pretty good. And then, you get married, and I think me and my wife went to Puerto Vallarta for a honeymoon, and were introduced to White Russians, and I think we gained 10 pounds just on those alone. But it's like it's life. It happens, and you gain weight, and especially in our day and age where everything's so processed and made with such garbage, we've forgotten what whole foods are. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I've never. She really kind of struggled with her weight most of her life. By the time I met her when I was in college, she had really trimmed down a lot, and I think she did that with probably Trim Healthy Mama. I'm not sure what she did on that one, but when she gained it back over the course of our marriage, she tried lots of things. None of them worked. She kept getting discouraged, and it was OMAD that really propelled her into staying with it. And then again, it just inspired me to do it. But yeah, it's a struggle. It's always going to be a struggle in this day and age when you have all of the garbage that's out there.
Mhm. What would you say is the biggest did you have a challenge in like when you were doing OMAD, was there ever a point where you did feel discouraged and are there still points in maintenance where you feel discouraged?
No, I don't feel discouraged anymore. So when she was alive, she told me, she said, Zach, the longest, and maybe she learned this from you or OMAD Revolution, I don't know. But she said, Zach, the longest, and she said she learned this from somewhere.
Mhm.
She said the longest plateau you're ever going to see is 5 weeks. Okay. And so does that resonate with you?
Oh yeah, yeah. Mine I think stagnated for about 5 weeks or so, and I was like, okay, if it goes longer than 6 weeks, maybe I do need to change something. But that's always
Right.
been kind of my like, just keep going for at least 6 weeks.
Well, she knew what I was doing was right. I think she may have been sick at this time when she told me, but she said, Zach, the longest you're going to have plateau is going to be 5 weeks. And so you get past that hump. And there was a time where I reached it was very discouraging, but I was looking at the calendar. I knew how much time I had. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to make sure I go that 5 weeks just to give it a go. And sure enough, at 5 weeks, it broke.
That's
And
awesome.
so, yeah, it was great.
So if you could give just one piece of advice to somebody out there, maybe they're like they're wanting to lose weight, but they're just having trouble. What's one piece of advice that you give them?
Pain is only weakness leaving the body. I learned that back in the military, and it's like I know how hard it is to not eat. I know that's those hunger pains because we, as a culture, as a society today, are not accustomed to that sort of being uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And so it's like, suck it up. You've got it. If you really want a healthier lifestyle, you can get there, but it's going to take some work. It's going to take some uncomfortable, an uncomfortable lifestyle for a while. But you can push through that. You can. We're all living proof of doing that. And it does suck at the time, but the outcome, once you get there, once you do get to your goal, it really is easier to maintain because you've gone through so much uncomfortable times
Mhm.
that a small amount of uncomfortable times is not going to bother you anymore. It's just going to be one of those things. I will tell you, one of the things that I've discovered even in the last year, because I used to use teas and things like that to help me get over any cravings and stuff like that. I would have coffee like once a day in the morning, but other teas and things like that. But what I have discovered is I would get a glass and I would fill it with ice and I would take a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar aged in wood. I know, tablespoon, put it in there and then fill it up with water and mix it in with the ice.
Uh-huh.
I love that stuff. I mean, I can drink that 2 or 3 times a day. If I feel like a craving or whatever, I'll drink that and it takes care of the craving. And it's actually very healthy for you. Thomas DeLauer and some other people have done videos, on their channels about how healthy that is for you. And so for fasting, that's something I'll have once or twice a day, maybe if I need to. And it really gets me past any humps or hurdles that, I feel like I might be getting weak on.
Right, yeah. Well, and also thank you for your service. We
Thank you.
appreciate that very much. So is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, not really. I guess not really. It's just a journey, and once you get there, I think it's going to be easy to maintain. And not only that, but I think you're going to inspire others. I will say that when I did reach my goal, there was a lot of people, a lot of friends who came up to me. Some were worried about me. Some were wanting to know how I lost the weight. And a lot of friends, and you may be able to relate too. A lot of friends try. They dabble into that, and they just find it's too hard. Um, so I would just try to maybe remember, put up shields around you for people who may try to put negative influence in your life when it comes to trying this. You can do it. And for those of you who see other people succeed and you want to dabble into it, yes, it's going to be hard. Just know that it's going to be hard, but the results are going to be amazing. And then once you get there, it's going to be a lot easier to just maintain.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, Zach, if people want to connect with you, what's the best way they can do that?
You can find me on YouTube at An American Homestead, or you can visit my website, anamericanhomestead.com. I'm also on X at An American Homestead. You can find me and follow me on there. Got a pretty good following. I love being on there and sharing stuff. So yeah, when this video comes out, I'll make sure I share it from your channel.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Zach, for being here.
All right. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for watching that interview. If you would like to share your weight loss success story, please reach out to me at interviews@sixmilestosupper.com.
Chances are, since you just watched that video, you're on the weight loss journey yourself. And I just wanted to let you know that I do have some more resources available to you. First of all, I have lots of freebies on my website, sixmilestosupper.com/freebies. On that page, you can find lots of downloads and printables that will help you on the weight loss journey. And I've written 3 different books to help you through the process. Also, I have a course, Unteachable, Intermittent Fasting for Weight Loss 101. And this takes you through the entire process of weight loss with intermittent fasting, from how to get started, and then how to build your plan and customize it to your own life, and finally, how to keep it off for the rest of your life. And I also offer weekly office hours so that you can get your questions answered directly by me. Also, there's the option to join this channel. When you become an insider, you get access to the vlog I do. I also hold an additional live Q&A just for members. The links to all these things are in the description.